Well, hello everyone! How are we all doing? And welcome to part 3 of the modern suburban mansion, or the modern family farmhouse that's very big. I can never say the name right, because technically there is no right name for this house. It's really a mix of everything. I say this at the beginning of every voiceover, as it's just the way it is with this build. But how have we all been doing? Personally, I've been doing pretty well, I want to say. Today, I've had a very productive day. It is my second video that I'm currently working on / editing. It's also 1:40 a.m., which is pretty late, but it's a classic for me, you know? It seems like almost every single voiceover of mine is filmed at this time, and there's really so much I can do. I tried to fix this, but I'm getting to a point where I think it's just inevitable, you know? Like, it's gonna happen, and it's the way it's gonna be. But on the bright side, I'm not feeling tired at all, which I'm very happy about it. And yeah, this part, it's really nothing special. I'm just basically gonna be doing the landscaping at the front and the back, and I'm also gonna start working on the interior. With this house, I actually took a different approach when it comes to working on the interior. I have this very strict building process, basically, and I always like to do the exterior of the house first, then the interior. So like exterior-wise, I like to always do the house shell first, put in all the details and everything, then clear it all, and then I'll move on to the landscaping. And then with the interior, what I usually do is I like to go just room by room, you know, just according to the layout. But this time I actually decided to do all of the just like architectural features first, and do all the wall trimming and everything, put in all the floors, and only then I would do furniture. So yeah, this is gonna be quite a different process to what I usually do, but I'm not complaining. It was kind of fun, but at the same time, I prefer my old way. I guess this was just, you know, a one-time thing where I tried it out and, well, I didn't like it, so I'm probably not gonna switch, and I'm gonna still do my interiors the old way. But yeah, that's really all about the interior. That's just a small disclaimer, I guess. But how have I been? I mean, I did kind of answer that question already, but I've been really busy, I want to say. I've been keeping myself busy. Obviously, a lot of that time has been spent just working on different builds and videos and different ideas for those videos. And on top of all of that, I've been also trying to take care of myself. So, I've been trying to go to the gym and everything, and go on just random dates with myself. Also going out with friends, socializing, you know, keeping a balance. But that stuff is so hard. Honestly, I don't think people tell you how hard it is to actually do it all. Because I think that's just the key to like a happy life, is just a balanced life where you do everything. And yes, it takes a lot of dedication, it takes discipline, which is very important, but in the end it's all worth it. But it's a hard thing to just kind of manage it all. And sometimes you don't even get to do it all, so that's also kind of unfortunate. But it is what it is. I guess by going on dates with myself, I kind of found a hobby that I never thought I'd like. I've never been a book person. Like, never. I never enjoyed books, and I want to partially blame school for that, because I realized that it's not a book. It's not exactly just reading books. It's more about what kind of a book you're reading. Because if you're going to read something you don't find interesting, then it's obviously going to be really boring, and it will feel like a chore. And you want to do everything but read the book. But then when you find the right one, when it's like something you're interested in, like a topic. For example, I've been reading this psychology book about the 5 languages of love. I'm pretty sure that's the right translation. I'm reading it in my native language, so I don't really know. But it's such a good book. And personally, I've always been really into psychology, and I always have this thing where I want to get better as a person and I want to improve as much as I can, so I really find stuff like this interesting. And yeah, I have this one spot in the city center where I can see the entire like skyline, and it's so pretty. The view is amazing, and I just love grabbing, like a yoga mat or a towel of some sort to just lay it on the ground, and I just sit down and I read. And I've been loving it so much. It helps me kind of relax, and I don't know, at the same time I feel so out of the world, I want to say, but at the same time like I'm in it. It's like yeah, it's a special thing. So it's really important to take care of yourself, not just physically but also mentally. But for some reason, I don't know how it's connected, but if you like start working out or just maintaining your physical health, it really helps you mentally. Like, I have no idea how these two things are connected. Of course, it doesn't solve all of your issues, and it never will, but it does really help you, make you feel better. I don't think there was ever a time where I left my gym feeling bad. Maybe like once, but it had nothing to do with like working out, and I had to end my workout early, but it really doesn't matter. But it's just, the point still stands, right? And I don't know, it's just, I couldn't recommend it enough. Honestly, I have no idea how I even started talking about this, but it really doesn't matter, I suppose. Yeah, but now maybe on a more relevant topic that a lot more people could relate to or are interested in, and that's the new Bloxburg update. It hasn't come out yet, but at the time I'm recording this video, but I really doubt it will be once I post it, because I'm gonna post this in probably like an hour or two from now. So how are we feeling about the summer update? Are we excited? I'm personally excited. I've seen that they're probably gonna add like a buggy of some sort. A buggy is like it's like a car meant for the beach, for those of you who don't know. But I'm sure a lot of you know what that is. I hope so. Yeah, it seems really cool. And you know what? One thing I'd really love for them to add are beach plots, but I know that's probably not gonna happen. But it's just, oh my god, I'd love for that to happen. That would be so cool. Just having a plot right by the beach, and being able to make coastal houses, and actually, they would be coastal. How cool would that be? But on a scale of 1 to 10 of how likely that will be, I am pretty confident that this is close to a 2 or 3, because there's a lot of things to figure out. Because I even thought about this, and I tried to put myself into the devs' shoes. Yeah, and things weren't really looking good, because there's a thing called plot data, and they're supposed to make sure that like the percentage doesn't go over a certain amount, hence as to why we only have like 12 plots in the game, right? So if they were to add 3 plots on the beach, does that mean they would have to get rid of the existing 3 plots that we have? You see, like, so many questions. Or maybe they would just optimize the system and be able to add those 3 extra plots. Does that mean they would also increase the amount of players that we could have in like public servers? I just there's a lot of things they would need to change about the system, and I don't think it would be convenient for them to do this. Obviously, maybe it is possible, and maybe this is just me not being sure about it. I'd hope that this is a possibility, and that eventually we would see something like that, because getting a map update, it is always so just fun. I mean, come on, even the gym being updated, like, that was genuinely, I think it was definitely one of the best updates that we've had in the game, because getting a new location to just roleplay in, and not just, like, to build, because, like, that's exciting, it's fresh, it's new. Because when you really think about it, we've been getting build updates for a good year and a half, and I don't even remember when the last role-playing update happened. The one I remember the most vividly, I want to say, is the toddler update, which It's crazy to think that update is almost 2 years old. Like, it has been a while. And yet it somehow still feels fresh. Probably only to me because I've never really roleplayed much. So it's like I know about all the features obviously because like I play the game and stuff, but I never actually roleplay. I've always been just kind of a builder, which on one hand, yeah, it's fun. On the other, I don't know, maybe sometimes it would be quite healthy, you know, to do something different in the game. But now that we're getting new locations, new things to do, obviously the possibilities are expanding, and yeah, I think the game will just continue to grow from this point. Just wanted to share a fun fact that I'm actually drinking my third cup of coffee today, and I had one I think an hour and a half ago. I hope my heart doesn't stop from caffeine, but I've been developing such an unhealthy addiction to caffeine because in the mornings, if I don't have a cup of coffee now, I somehow think that I'm not going to be able to have a productive day. It's like I programmed myself like this and there's nothing I can do to change it. Well, that's a lie. There are plenty of things I can do to change it. But the question is, do I really want to do that? The answer is, well, it's nice to drink coffee in the morning. It's part of the aesthetic in a way, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I feel weird about it. I know it's not good for me, but it's also motivating to get out of bed in the morning and just be like, oh yeah, I have to get out of bed so I could have a cup of coffee. I always get very upset if there is no coffee and then I need to go refill and just, it's a lot. Yeah, but just wanted to share this. It's really unrelated, but you know, maybe in some way I'm bringing awareness. That is a total lie, but I just wanted to share it. Anyways, maybe I should talk about what I'm doing in the build. Really, it isn't anything special. Like, I've been just filling up all of the empty, I want to say planters, because they're kind of like planters, custom planters. And there were a lot of them. That's what I really like about this backyard, is just how split level it is. And I like how each area is like private in a way, separated. And you can kind of like feel which areas are for relaxing, which are for like entertaining, just socializing. I don't know, I feel like I did a pretty good job with the layout, and I'd honestly love to have a backyard like this in my IRL home. Like, this is definitely one of the favorites I've ever created. I don't know, just the whole idea of my dream home, I feel like I'd be so confused by it, because I personally like so many different house styles and different aesthetics, and each and one of them purely just depends on my mood. So like, sometimes I'm in the mood for this, sometimes I'm in the mood for that, and I can never decide. So I feel like if I were to do a house, I'd get bored of it in a week and I'd want something new, and that is a problem. But maybe it wouldn't be like that. You see, I've never had like a place of my own yet, so I don't know. I mean, but I guess I do have a place of my own. That is my room. It kind of counts. But yeah, I get bored of my room. I'm already bored of it. I want to change it. But it really wouldn't make much sense for me to make any changes at the moment, because I don't see myself living here any longer. Once I start uni, I'll probably have to move out. And it just feels like I'd be throwing out money. So yeah, I don't know. It would be interesting to have my own place. But on the other hand, I'm excited because I want to see how it will go. But there's so many things I want to have. Because I sometimes I do think about it, right? And I know I really want like a modern house in the woods. I would also love like an old city apartment. I'd love to have a penthouse in like a skyscraper. I'd love to have a coastal home. I'd love to have a desert home. Just anything, honestly. I have so many different ideas for different projects, and I'd love to do them all and own them all. Maybe one day in the future. We'll see how it will go for me. But yeah, I actually started working on the creek, if you guys noticed. So this was one request that Ave wanted me to do. Well, it's a request, so obviously she wanted me to do it. Because when I speak to clients, I usually like to ask them what they want exactly. And yeah, this was her like special request, and I tried to pull it off as best as I can, given the layout. I want to say I did a pretty decent job. I mean, it doesn't look that unnatural. One thing that I'm kind of sad about when it comes to unnatural things is I wish I could have kept more of the custom trees, because if you guys watch the tour, you'll find that a lot of them were actually deleted at the end, because I was running out of plot data and I needed to find it somewhere. So obviously the easiest choice, or the easiest place to find extra plot data, is just by deleting custom trees, because they take up an enormous amount of plot data. I feel like it should be illegal as to how much plot data they take up, but on the other hand, it kind of makes sense, but I'm still kind of mad about it. Because custom trees, they're so pretty, and they make the build look so good if it's done right. And just, I don't know, for my personal taste, the Bloxburg trees that we have right now, the in-game ones, they're just too cartoony. I don't know, but for some houses it also works, because not everyone builds as realistic as I do. But I guess I just wish we had more options. It would be nice if we had like tree models with like actual leaves, but I can only imagine the plot data that would take up. Probably doesn't even make sense for the devs to put that in the game, just because of how much plot data it would take up. That is insane. But getting back to the creek, as you can see right now, I'm putting in the dirt piles, and this is kind of, I don't know how many of you have actually been here for a while, but for those of you who have been here for at least 2 years, I want to say, you might remember this trick where we used dirt piles for snow. I think I still do that. You say I didn't make any winter themed build this year, so I didn't do it, but usually, yeah, this is kind of like the OG trick, and I think I used it for dirt as well back in the day, so this just kind of brings back some kind of nostalgia. Is that how you're supposed to pronounce it? I think it is. Yeah, but I don't know. It doesn't really look that bad, and I mean, I kind of used it as I was supposed to. It just kind of takes a while to fill up the entire bank of the creek, but it was worth it nonetheless. And yeah, that's really there's really not much to say about it. Like, it's just a creek. I tried to make it as best as I could, given with the amount of space that we had, which was not a lot. But I think I did a pretty good job. I'm repeating myself. My goal was just to kind of blend it in with all of the nature, with the Bloxburg terrain, I guess, not nature. It's pretty bland, so I didn't really have to add much. I actually did think about like adding, some kind of woods in the back, but then I realized that would just cost a lot of plot data, and that it's probably a lot smarter just to kind of keep it a bit more empty and just, like I said, blend it in with the Bloxburg terrain. And yeah, I believe it worked out personally. And I think after this, I will start working on the outdoor fire pit area. That also kind of has nothing special to it. I like to always keep my fire pit areas kind of just simple, minimalistic in a way, because you really won't spend much time there usually, and it's just like a very extra area of a house. Anyways, on another note, I wanted to talk about kind of community interaction, because I feel like for a very long time I've been kind of out of touch with the community, and lately what I've been into is just hopping on random live streams and then just kind of chilling and sometimes even joining the game. Because the other day, actually I don't remember how long ago this was, maybe less than a week ago. I remember I was working on the build and I saw that Naomi, she was actually just doing a live stream with her subscribers where they were just chilling and building a house together. Or I think she was working on her city, and then she was also touring like other people's houses. And it was a very fun time. I also joined the game. I saw some of you guys there. Some of you recognized, a lot of people actually didn't, which was very nice in a way. And yeah, it was also just fun walking through random people's houses. I honestly don't get to do that really often when I really think about it. I don't even remember the last time I was in a public server. That is embarrassing to say. Because I've been liking my private neighborhood. All I've been doing is just kind of chilling there and building, for the most part. Not for the most part, that's literally all I've been doing. Sometimes, I get some of my friends keeping me company. You may know one as Equinox. We've done a few collabs before. I don't know, I love that girl so much. Gwen, if you're watching this, yeah, shout out to you. Hopefully I'll be able to bring her on the voiceover soon. We always have the most interesting conversations and while building. It works. That's what I love about Bloxburg so much, is just making friends and then you guys just hop on a game and just build together. At least that's what I do with friends. You could do a lot of different other things. And when I really think about it, it's weird the amount of friends I've actually made from the game. Because when you really think about it, you seriously can make that many friends from a game. But you really can if you're just open to it and you don't push people back and you interact with everyone. It just kind of happens naturally. And yeah, Bloxburg and just my whole journey here really made me learn so much, not only about myself, but even other people. And I don't know, it's weird how a game can truly teach you so much. You never really see it or think about it until it kind of happens to you. Even I don't think about it much, but really is a big part of my journey. Anyways, that was a very interesting topic. But I wanna talk about something that's very relevant at the moment, that has come out very recently, and I know that a lot of you maybe watched it. Maybe some of you haven't, but if you have not done it yet, you 100% should. And that is the new Black Mirror series. Well, not series, it's the new season. The series is actually pretty old, but it's always been really good. And just this new season, it's so good again. Black Mirror has always been one of my favorite shows. I believe I've talked about it in at least a few voiceovers before in the past. I won't be able to recall which ones right now, but there has been plenty, let me tell you. And I've always loved the show so much, and I was so happy to see that, there were new episodes coming out, and I just love the whole concept. So for those of you who don't know, Black Mirror basically kind of shows you what technology can do to us, as people, and how it can be very negative and how it can basically mess with our lives, really badly. And it's so good at representing that, and it always makes you think, but think really hard. It makes you rethink a lot of your decisions and what you do. For example, the first episode, Joan is awful. I was watching it and I was like, what the hell? I'm gonna try my best not to spoil anything, so if you haven't watched it, I advise you maybe you skip this part, or maybe you want to listen to what I have to say and then maybe you'll watch the show and then you'll understand what I'm talking about. But it's just, watching Black Mirror, it's so much more fun when you don't know anything what's gonna happen, because they always have the craziest plot twists. I don't think there's an episode without a plot twist, and they're always insanely unexpected. You can even expect a plot twist, but you will never be able to predict it. That's what I love about the show. Yeah, but the whole with the Joanne is awful. Joanne? I don't know how to pronounce the name. Sorry, my bad. It really made me rethink all of the terms and services I've accepted. And I had to accept new terms of service today. And I was like, should I read all of this? And then, yeah, I read like halfway through and then I gave up. So hopefully I didn't really skip through that much, but it's scary. Because the things it can really do to you, and you can just accidentally click accept and then your whole life can be ruined. Like that stuff is crazy. And then Lock Henry. Should I even talk about the ending? What was that? I was creeped out, to say the least. If I were to find out that about my family, I'd be, I don't know. And he lost it all. He got what he wanted, but he ended up with nothing in the end. Just a trophy. Was it worth it? I think he realized that it wasn't worth it. And I feel bad for him. I don't even remember what his name was, but I feel truly bad for him. Like, it can be so cruel. Yeah, and then the third one was very weird for me. Like the whole, you see, when it comes to space, I have this very weird love and hate relationship, I want to say, because it's just, I find it interesting, but on the other hand, space is just, it's so big that it's boring. You know what I mean? Like, just, I could never be an astronaut. Like, sitting at the space station and being able to just, you basically can't really do that much up there. I mean, you could see the air from above. That's really all you could do, which is, yeah, it's a pretty view. But sometimes a pretty view isn't enough. You know, it's nice, like, for like a 2 or 3 day retreat. But if it's longer than that, if it's like, a year? How long do astronauts leave for? Actually, let me take a look. Let me Google that. How long do astronauts stay in space? Oh, 6 months. Well, that's not that bad, but I'd still go nuts. So just the fact that it was in space was a bit weird for me, but the whole concept, it was still a good episode nonetheless. It was weird. It was very selfish of the guy who did what he did. It was so messed up, honestly. What am I even saying? Selfish isn't even the right word, because it was horrible. Like, he is a really bad person. And they, like, the wife and the other co-pilot, like, they tried helping him, and that's how he repaid them by literally, oh my, I'm not gonna say what he did, so you're gonna have to watch the show yourself to know what he did. But it was, I don't understand it. You see, you guys should watch the show and you should get back to me on what you think about it. I haven't watched the last 2 episodes yet because I had the choice to either finish the show today or work on videos, so I chose to work on videos, and here I am recording the voiceover. So I mean, I guess I chose the better option, but I can't wait to watch the rest of the show. And actually, I thought I'd spend a lot longer working on the landscaping than I actually did, because I'm already working on the interior. Like I said, right now I'm putting in the flooring. Don't even get me started on the flooring. That was probably the trickiest part of this entire house. But I was very proud that I managed to get it up on the 2nd floor as well, and not just the first one. And midway through this house, we actually got the color wheel. So I was able to match the staircase color to the floor, and it looked really good. It really all turned out nicely. I don't know. I really like this house. I think it's probably my best work I've done. But on the other hand, I say this every single time I build a new house. So, but I guess that just means I'm improving with every build. So that's not a bad thing, right? But yeah, on that note, I'm just probably gonna leave here. It was an interesting voiceover. Sorry for being all over the place today. Like I said, I had a very productive day ahead of me, so I'm not the brightest right now. For some reason, I'm always not the brightest when I need to record a voiceover. I've noticed that. as well. But it is what it is. But I hope you enjoyed it nonetheless, and I hope to see you in the next video, which is going to be a lot different from what I usually do. It's not going to be a speed build, it's going to be a challenge video. And I haven't really done these in a while, I think. If I've ever done one, I think I had like a few attempts at doing them, but the videos just never worked out. But this one actually, I got to make it a video, and I'm pretty proud of it, so I hope you'll enjoy it. It's gonna be out tomorrow, right after this video, so expect it at 3 p.m. EST. And if you're watching this, you know, once both of the videos are out, then you'll just be able to watch it. You'll be able to find it on my channel. But yeah, good luck to all of you, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.
place, but I'm loving it. And my mind can't cross this fence. Your love is something I don't get. Your love is like barbed wire. I heard if I get much higher, I won't get over it. I won't get over it. Your love is like barbed wire. I heard if I get much higher, I won't get over it. I'm caught by barbed wire. I'm caught by barbed wire. I'm caught by barbed wire. Oh, you said that I'd be yours until the end of time. And my mind can't comprehend. Your love is something I don't get. Your love is like barbed wire. I heard if I get much higher, I won't get over it. I won't get over it. Your love is like barbed wire. I heard if I get much higher, I won't get over it. I'm caught by barbed wire. I'm caught by I'm caught by barbed wire. I'm caught by barbed wire. I'm caught by barbed wire. I've got something for you, and I can hardly breathe. Something draws me to you, it's taking over me. Don't know where you came from, but you're cutting deep. When the music's over, will you come with me? Tell me you can feel it, though we're oceans apart. I've got love for you. I've got love for you. And I know this magic sparks inside who we are. I've got love for you.